Lieutenant, welcome back. I think where we left off yesterday is that you had been in the house that belonged to the defendant with his mother, and you had now made it outside and were talking to her.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
And I believe she had told you, or she was questioning where her son was, the defendant, and you indicated you thought that he was involved at that point.
Yes, sir. She was hysterical. Again, she kept asking where Austin was. She was worried, excuse me, about him. I don't know if it was me, but a group of officers that were there had called for some medical attention for her to get her transported to the hospital. And then I had relayed the information that I had discovered inside the house to my supervisors to let them know that I believed, or in fact that I knew that Austin was going to be the individual that was pinned down in the barn.
Now, at the time that you are having this interaction, have you gained any other video evidence or anything else? And when I say you, I don't mean you personally, but the Raleigh Police Department. Had you gathered any video evidence from the neighborhood about this shooting?
Yes, it was sometime pretty much after that, because again, everything was happening so fast, and there were, probably hundreds of officers or detectives that were there that were doing different things, and information is getting funneled in. So yes, I was made aware that there was video of the defendant walking down the street armed with a long gun.
All right. And you talked about when you went in the house some of the things that you found and saw, correct?
Yes, sir.
May I approach the witness, Your Honor?
Yes.
All right, Detective, Lieutenant, I'm sorry. I'm gonna show you State's Exhibit 6. You've looked through this already, correct?
Yes, sir.
And are those photographs of the home that you entered into and kind of depicted as you saw it that day?
That's correct.
All right. And I'm gonna show you State's Exhibit number 7. You've also looked at that, correct?
Yes.
And are those photographs from inside that bathroom that you discussed where you found the other victim, James?
That is correct.
All right. And again, fair and accurate depiction?
Yes.
All right. Your Honor, at this time, the state would move to introduce State's Exhibits 6 and 7.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
And I'm going to ask to publish State's Exhibit 6 on the big screen.
Yes, sir. Are you ready?
Yes, Your Honor. Now, Lieutenant, the first photograph is 4720. This is inside the residence, is that correct?
That is correct. Based on my recollection, again, so like behind where the photographer would be in this picture would be the garage door that led from the inside of the house to the garage.
Is that the door that you came in from?
That is correct.
All right. And again, we've heard some testimony about placards before, but these have some labels A, C, D, and E. When you were inside the home, obviously those placards were not initially there, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. But do you know what was kind of at those locations?
So I believe that these locations, they would have been blood droplets or blood smears.
Okay. And I'm going to take you to the next photograph, which is 4759. And that's a close-up of that chair, the hardback chair that we just saw there.
Yes, sir.
And here, what are we looking at there?
So that appears to be blood droplets or blood stains on the edge of that chair.
All right. And the next photograph, which would be 4843, we have a pillow. Do you know what if any, significance there was for this pillow?
There was some blood on that pillow as well.
We'll zoom in a little bit. It may help to see it. Is that these speckled spots that we're seeing?
That's correct. I would constitute that to be what I would call blood splatter. That was probably after an initial wound.
And so that pillow, was that nearby those chairs?
I do believe that it was, yes.
We'll
By where the gaming chair was and then the chair that was next to that.
Okay, we'll go back to 4720, which is the first photograph. Do you see it here at all?
Is that it right there on the left side? Yes, that's it. If I could elaborate just
Sure.
a little bit, that's okay. The gaming chair was pretty much where it was, and then there was blood. So to the left, it was determined based on the evidence that's there in the blood that the gaming chair was there facing the TV when I believe that the shot to the back of the head occurred, and blood then spattered on both sides of that onto the pillow and then onto the chair, and most likely the victim, James, kind of fell over onto that chair, which why there's more blood on that.
All right, and if we zoom in on the gaming chair, does there also appear to be like a game controller and headset on it?
That's correct.
Okay. So, moving back ahead, we just talked about the pillow. The next photo would be 4960. What are we looking at here?
So this is continuing from where the gaming chair, that chair with the blood droplets, and the first picture that you would have seen with the placards, we're kind of following those placards as they're going back toward the back of the residence. There's a couch there that's on the right-hand side if you were facing those placards moving toward the back, and that's a blood smear that is, well, in my opinion, moving from where the gaming console was or chair was back toward the back bedroom.
Okay. And the next photograph, 4993, we're moving further down,
Yes, sir.
and another placard.
Yes, sir.
And the next photograph, which would be 5005, are we now at the end where that last placard was, and do we again see a blood smear?
Yes, there's a blood smear there on the other end of the couch, about the same level as the first one. And then you see the continuation in this photo of another placard G that is going to the back bedroom there, primary bedroom. So the smear kind of continues around the couch into that bedroom.
Okay. And so we'll go to 5056, which is the next photo. Is this G?
That is correct.
And it doesn't show well, but to your memory, did there appear to be blood smears on the ground there?
It's either the ground or there's there on the door. I can't tell based on this picture if that's a blood smear that's there or not. But there, for the placard to be there would have been an indication of blood.
All right. And then the next photograph, which is 5086, we've got more placards. Is this the master or the primary bedroom?
That's correct. It was what I determined to be the primary bedroom. The placards follow all the way back from the gaming chair all the way through what I would call the living room area of the residence into the primary bedroom. And each placard, there is blood smear on the floor.
Okay. And we see this doorway here at the end. Is this the primary bathroom that you entered into that had James in it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Also, and I think there are some photos that may show this a little better, but on the bed here, was there anything of note?
Is 2 long guns there on the bed, if I remember correctly, and I believe there was a bag that was also there on that bed.
Okay. And so the next photograph, which is 5116, is this that master bedroom leading into the bathroom?
That is correct.
Okay, and we can see, unfortunately, feet there.
Yes.
Okay. Now, to the right in that photograph is placard 28. Do you know what that was?
I do. So when we went in there, initially I didn't recall seeing it, but then as we came back through, did a secondary search of the residence, I do recall seeing that note that was there on the dresser.
Okay, and we'll move ahead then to 5131. Is this the note?
That is the note.
And do you know what it says?
Sure. It says, "James dead inside, don't look."
And sitting on top of that note, what is this?
That is a spent cartridge from a gun.
Okay. Do you know if that was a 20, later determined to be
Yes, it was a 22.
Now, 5275, which is the next photo, I believe this is inside of that bathroom. Is this the doorway leading back out into the bedroom?
So that is the doorway that's leading back out to the bedroom, and so this is just inside the bathroom to the right, and it's about halfway up the wall. So about where you can see where the door jamb would be, where the I guess doorknob.
Here.
So it's a little high, yes, sir. So it's a little higher than the rest of the smears, like on the couch. So it's a little bit higher, and then on the floor there is where James is laying.
All right. And we've got some photos that we'll discuss about that.
Sure.
But skipping ahead to the next photograph that we have, is this back into the primary bedroom?
This is the primary bedroom, and with the firearm that's there on the bed, and then the bag. 2 firearms, yes.
And this is the bag you were talking about?
Yes, sir.
And then the next photograph then, is that inside of that bag?
That is correct.
And does appear to be ammunition?
It is ammunition.
Then 5701, we're still in that primary bedroom?
Yes, this is a closet. The dresser with the note is in the front of the picture there. This is a closet that's over to the right.
And was this of note because these boxes had...
That's correct. So there's a box that's there, and I believe that box had a scope was on that, in the box at some point.
So 5713 is the next photo. Is that inside of that box?
Yes, sir.
Let's say Weaver scope.
Yes.
All right. And then there's another box that was in there as well, which is 5716.
That is correct, and that is a box of ammunition.
All right. The next photo, when you go back out of that bedroom, is 5752, and kind of, can you orient us here about where we are and what was of note to you in this location?
Yes. Again, my recollection and not having remembered this for 3 years, but the bathroom that's there on the left, I want to say that's where the mother was when we entered the residence and actually had to get her out of there. So if I remember right, the garage would be back over to the right-hand side, not pictured, the garage door. But leading into that was what I later determined to be Austin's bedroom.
This?
Straight ahead, yes.
Okay. And is this his brother's bedroom?
That was what I later determined, yes.
All right. And from this doorway, can you see a gun on that bed?
I do see a long style gun on the bed.
All right. The next photograph is 5755, and you can again see the gun on the left. Is this the bedroom that you determined to be James's?
That is correct.
Okay. And 5761, I believe, is entering into James's room. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And what, if anything, of note was found in here?
So there's there's a computer on the bed, and there's another long gun there stretched across the bed as well.
Okay. And 5770, what are we looking at?
That's just another angle of what we just saw with the long gun, and then AirPods and the laptop.
And 5836 is the next photograph, and is this James's room?
That is correct.
I'm sorry, Austin's room?
Sorry, it is Austin's room, yes.
All right. And we see some things other than the long gun on the bed. What are we noticing here?
So I believe that those are going to be stacks of ammo, or ammo boxes.
Okay. And so we'll The next photo is 5839. Is this a closer up photo of that?
Yes, sir.
And so you've got the long gun, ammo, and is this also ammo in Ziploc bags?
That is ammo in Ziploc bags. I want to, if I remember correctly, some of those boxes are empty, as if the boxes were emptied into the Ziploc bags.
Okay. And is this the note that you said you located?
That is correct. That is the note that I located, read, and then provided that information to commanders over there on the scene.
Is this kind of how it looked when you got in there?
That's pretty much exactly how it was.
All right. There also appears to be, this is toilet paper and some other stuff over here?
Yes, sir.
So the next photograph is 5854. Is that a close-up of that ammunition that you were talking about?
Yes, it is.
And 5857, again, the long gun and note.
Yes, the note, and then based on, after seeing this note, and then back in the other photo with the note saying, James is dead, don't go in there, it looks like it was torn from that page.
Okay. The next photograph is 5917.
This is a photo that from the same bed, but it's after investigators had gone in and put it all together for a photo.
Okay. Kind of organizing.
It is just to show the different manufacturers or different types of ammo that was there, and to show the quantity of it.
And the next photo is 5965. Is this on the ground at the foot of the bed?
Yes.
And are these empty ammunition boxes?
Yes.
Okay. And the final photograph of this section is 6001. That appears to be behind the closet door. Is there two more long guns and some shotgun shells?
Yes, that is what that photo depicts.
All right. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
If I may approach again, Your Honor.
Yes.
I'm going to show you again State's Exhibit 7, which are the photographs. And if you can, the first photograph there is 5188, and just kind of tell us what we're looking at.
Sure. Photo 5188 is the primary bathroom of the house. And this is a picture that is taken once you step into the bathroom. And the last photo that we saw in there, the bathroom, the blood smear on the right, if you step back to the left and take a photo down of the ground, it's a picture of James that's depicted there on the floor of the bathroom.
Okay. And the next photograph is 5215.
Okay. This is the lower half of James. His feet are kind of up in the air, and then he has blood on the lower extremities.
The next photograph, 5224.
This is a further up image of the torso of James laying in the bathroom. His face is to the left. There is a large amount of blood underneath him, and he's wearing shorts and other garments kind of over.
Okay. And then finally, 5266.
So this is just a higher up picture of James lying in the bathroom. Heavy amount of blood that is on the floor, in a photo of him lying there dead.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, I would publish these to you via the book.
Yes. All right, correct. Yes.
I don't have any other questions at this time, Your Honor.
Questions for this witness?
Yes, just a few. Lieutenant Rigsby, I want to talk about the 14th, the day after this.
Okay.
You were back at the Thompson home, correct?
That is correct.
And this was a really big case, right?
Yes.
And so you wanted to make sure you memorialized anything that could be relevant, right?
I don't understand.
You wanted to take note of anything that could be important.
The 14th or the day of the incident?
The 14th.
I don't know that I was there to do that.
Your Honor, may I have just a moment?
Yes.
I apologize, Your Honor. It's just taken a moment. Handing you what I have marked as Defendant's Exhibit 1. Does this appear to be a page of your report?
It does.
And if we could come down here to this paragraph, second to last, does it note a date there?
It does, the 14th, October the 14th, and it says 2021.
And then if we move to the second paragraph, does that indicate that you went to the Thompson home that afternoon?
That's correct.
Okay. And you can hold on to that.
Sure.
As we discussed, you wanted to make sure you took note of anything that could be important later, right?
Well, so to answer your question, yes, but it was mainly, I wanted to take note of anything of my actions, of what I did, what I was asked to do there, and then anything that could come back on me later. So deciding what's important, I don't know that that's a fair, but I described my actions of what I did in this report.
Absolutely. And while you were there, a delivery driver came by the house, right?
That is correct.
And delivered a package with Austin's name on it, right?
Correct. And the reason why that was placed in there was because I was there with other officers, no one else there, and the house was in police custody. The delivery driver, if you want to call it delivered, he threw the package from his truck. He threw it because crime scene tape was still around. The road was open, but the house was still secured. So he stood there, threw the package. Well, it's in police custody, or the house is, so I wanted to make sure whatever that was, I didn't want to be responsible because I saw it. It could have been important. So yes, I picked the package up, documented what it was, and took it inside.
And that package, it was some medication, is that right?
That is correct.
Prescription medication?
Yes.
Called minocycline?
That is what was on the box or the bag.
And you noted that that had been prescribed by a dermatologist, correct?
That is correct.
All right, thank you. No further questions, Your Honor.
Anything further, Mr. Resort?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. You may
Thank you.
sit down.
Oh,
This will go to you.
doesn't matter.
Thank you.
Move for admission.
I have not, Your Honor.